Now, students, part five of the panel here, and I'm going to bring this into your current project at the moment. So you can see what I've done there is I've just created an empty sheet of glass and I put some grids on it. And if I get in here, you can see that it's 3850 by 9 meters. Okay, if I go into the south elevation, that's what we're talking about, 950 by 3850. Okay, so that's my kind of panel size. Now, it's larger than the panel I created for last year, and I've given you all fair warning on that. If you're following along on the other videos, make sure that you create your panel based on whatever your kind of grid is, and your floor to floor is 3850 by 900 is mine. So, but what I'm going to show you is that I've opened up the panel from last year. Okay, let's get around here, and that's the modified version. So let's get that one up. So file, open family, and go back up and find this now. Yeah, it's in here, concrete building. Okay, put that over there. So there's the original panel. So I'll open that up here now, just to give you an idea. So if by mistake you made the panel to the original size, no panic. Okay, that's it there. All right, now if I go to an exterior view, you'll see that last year's panel was 3.6 by, let's put in a dimension here to those two reference planes, by 6.3. Now, if you've made it in the way that I've shown you, you can very easy manipulate this, because look, that's just basically an extrusion. So I can pull that out even the whole way across there to make that 9 meters wide and leave that as is. Okay. And you know, you've got various other extrusions, and again, if you just edit the extrusion, they're all just sketch lines. So there's no problem about adapting this panel to meet a new size here. You just got to set those reference planes to 9 meters and 3850, and just make the adjustments. So that's what I have done here. Okay, I've made an adjustment on the panel. Let's get to the exterior side here. So you can see now this is, and I'm leaving it about 15 mil short. Okay, so you can see it's 8985, and this is 3840. That's so I can put in the neoprene strip, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. I did show you that on the other video too. Now, if you didn't particularly like the design of this, and again, it's quite a large panel because I'm making it to 9 meters. There's no problem. You as I said, you can trick around with the various different extrusions that are here. It's you know, once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite simple. You know, there's your glazing extrusion. That's the protruding concrete extrusion. That's the main frame extrusion. You know, and that is that kind of ribbed line extrusion there. So as I said, you can play around with that. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to insert this. So if I go back to my back to the 3D here, right? So I've created a piece of glass. Now note, this is important in relation to that curtain wall panel as well, because there's a back to it and there's a front to it. So what I've done is I've drawn this piece of curtain wall glazing, and I'm going right to left. So I started at this point and I moved it along there. And so the panel should come in facing out correctly. But if you do it the wrong way, if you do it left to right, it's a negative side, and the panel will switch around to the other way. I could put a little solution into that as well, but just to remember that. So so I've loaded both of the panels now into the project. So there, and they're just load into the project like so. All right, and there's my panel. Okay, so if I tab at any point, tab, 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 so on like that, I can go in and pick my panel. Because what you're going to do is once you have it picked, you're going to swap it out for, and it goes up here. Look, here is it. I'll do the first original one first. Look, okay, so it's trying to stretch out to get to that 9 meters, but it's not working. All right, and that's what I mean about if you're going to do it in this system, you want to have uh, the panel as close to the 9 meters by 3.8 as possible. It has a little bit of give in it, but that's too much of a give there. Um, so let's choose that one, and I'll swap it out for the adjusted panel that I did here. And you can see that fits in very neatly there. All right. Now, so going back here, what I've done is I have drawn in, just get this for you. So that is a curtain wall empty. So it's an empty sheet. It's one sheet of glass the whole way through here. And I did show you how you were going to divide up the glass into the various different sections here. So if I go over to my architecture, into my curtain grid, and if I pick on so I'm on the top of the glass here and I'm at the grid line, right? Like so. And that is putting in grids for me across there. And then on the side of the glass here, and again, I'm doing that here. Now, if you go back to Pierce's, or go back to the brief, I'll just show you that. At the bottom of the brief here, you'll see that there's some instructions in terms of that's going to be just glass, that's glass, and over the other side, that's glass as well. And then the concrete panels are kind of in between here. So refer back into the brief to take a look at that. So what I'll be doing here is that'll all be glass here, and I'm going to put the panels in like so. Now, so this is how we go about that. And I'll start down here. So tab, select. And what I can do is I can right click and go select panels along the horizontal or the vertical grid. Okay, so it's selected all of those panels, and I'm just going to maybe try and deselect this one, see if I can do that. I can, right? So they're all selected. Now I'm going to hit the drop down box and I'm going to find my panel like so. They're all gone into place. Now I'll repeat this in across here. So it's a tab, right click, select panels on the vertical grid, and then just hit the shift button and deselect that one and swap those out for these ones here. Okay, and you're getting the idea. And we'll do that again. So it is tab, select, right click, select panels along the vertical, shift, deselect that one, swap out. Okay, I get that one in place, and then go over and do this one. So it's tab, select it, tab, select, right click. And again, I'm going to leave that one in and let's see what happens. All right, let's just see what happens with that. Now you can see that I've got a little bit of an anomaly happening here. I know how to fix that, but that's just to show you that because this is wider. It's a 4.5, so I might just go in and do a save as and do a little adjustment on the bottom there, but that was just to show you what happens here. Okay, and then I'll do my glazing in that one. Also mullions. All right, so let's hit the drop down box for the mullions. So what I'm looking for is kind of a circular mullion here, right? And I haven't used that one before, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is put that in there, and let's get into the 3D and see what that's like. Yeah, look at that. So that's bang on what I want there. That's my neoprene strip. All right, so I won't actually use it in that position here, but for the other grids on this side here, I will. The grids that are separating those uh, the panels here. Okay, so do mullion. Okay, and see the way it's kind of pushing the panel over a little bit here, which is interesting. Give me the gap. All right. Okay, and maybe no, I'm not going to. I'll be doing something different at the end there. So again, if I do a section through here, you can see that there's a little bit of tricking around to be done here. So if I put that mullion in there, you notice that it's come here, and I don't want it to go in there, but I'm actually able to separate those ones. Okay, now it's quite a neat way of separating those panels. So if I do a section through that, you'll see what that is. And if you remember back on part 2, let's just get into the ground floor and see if I've got a section going through there anywhere. Okay, let's just pull a section through here at the moment. Okay, I'll zoom in there. You can see that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get that mullion kind of in the center part there. And I've explained how that's done in part 2 of the panel series as to how you go about doing that. Okay, back to the south elevation. Now, what I can do, I think, is by selecting that grid, I can go add, remove segments, and it's just that segment there. Okay. All right. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not going to use those small mullions for what's happening here. I'm going to be using the standard 150, something like that. So I'll get the bigger one there. And why it's not? Oh, I've taken the grid out. I think that's the line. So I need to put the grid line back in. Curtain grid. And, okay, so I'll have to do a little bit of tricking around with that in order to get that so I can put the 50 by 150s in there for that kind of glazing there. And I probably will split it like that as well. Matter of fact, you know, so just to show you that this does work. Well, then, there you go. All right. And then I'll be swapping out those circular mullions for that bigger one. So we need to take a look at that. Now, let's get in there. All right, so there's the 150 with the circular one. So we can swap out those. That's the one I took out. So I need to get it back into position there. All right, so a little bit of tricking around to be done with that, and there's a little bit of tricking around to be done with that panel there, but that's basically it. The final thing I want to show you here, and I think I have shown you in the other videos here. If I can pick that one, go into the edit type properties here, and I've got all my materials here. So I'm going to do a glass material here just to get that for you. Glass curtain wall, bit of transparency on that. Okay, and again, because these are type properties, now I've got all my glass in there. You can see the shadows getting in there as well. All right, so that's basically it. There'll be an interesting detail where that ties into that parapet there, and where this meets the threshold as well. And what I would do is I would do a save as on my panel family, and I would create one that is useful for the ground floor at 4 meters. And I think it's slightly different again. If I go back over here so you need to create a panel, something like that, so it'll have a concrete frame around it and 2 big glazing panels. No problem. That should be easy to do. 9 meters wide by, I think it's 4.5 high.